The wind whipped across the ridge, carrying the scent of dust and distant gunfire. She sat alone, perched on a rusted outpost that no one bothered to check, a sniper rifle resting across her knees. There were no orders, no cheers. Only the silence of the mountains and the weight of the responsibility that had been thrust upon her. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you were watching from. I love knowing who is listening. Her name was Mara Lynn, and to the base below, she was almost invisible. Just a shadow in a uniform, a placeholder where no one expected danger. But Mara had learned long ago that true duty didn't require applause. It demanded focus, courage, and a willingness to stand alone when the world forgot you were there. The sun had barely risen, spilling pale gold across the jagged peaks, when movement flickered in the valley. A lone figure appeared, then another, and another, crawling along the terrain with lethal intent. Mara's fingers instinctively found the trigger, eyes narrowing through the scope. She knew each shot counted not just for her survival, but for the lives sleeping unknowingly behind the walls of the base. Her pulse quickened, but her hands remained steady. Every instinct she had honed over years of quiet service converged in this moment. One miscalculation could cost everything. She was the line that would either hold or break. The first shot cracked through the morning air. The enemy stumbled, surprised by resistance from a direction they had ignored. Mara adjusted her aim, calculating wind, distance, and heartbeat. One precise shot after another. The valley became a theater of shadows and dust, punctuated by the faint, eerie echo of gunfire. Inside the command center, the officers scrambled. Eyes glued to screens that now showed numbers they didn't understand, figures they had dismissed as inconsequential. "Who's engaging them?" someone demanded. Mara didn't answer. She couldn't. Words were a luxury she didn't have. Her world had shrunk to the scope, the rifle, and the responsibility to hold the line. Minutes stretched into eternity. The enemy adapted, coordinating movements, testing her position. Mara's eyes flicked from shadow to shadow. She saw the glint of a helmet, the tremor of a hand. She made a choice that no one else could. She moved. Sliding down the embankment, dust coating her uniform, she repositioned herself in plain sight of the enemy, risking exposure to protect the lives below. Her heart hammered, but fear was a tool, not a master. Every shot she took disrupted their advance, slowing the tide of destruction. She bought her comrades time. Precious, fragile seconds. From the ridge, reinforcements began to arrive, soldiers flowing like a tide reclaiming the battlefield. Mara watched them move, knowing she had shaped this moment. Her own body ached from exhaustion, her fingers numb from the repeated recoil of the rifle. She was unseen, yet indispensable. When the last echo faded and the valley fell silent, Mara remained alone, still crouched behind the rocks. Dust settled on her uniform. Her chest rose and fell with ragged breaths. Around her, the world seemed impossibly quiet, as if holding its breath to honor her efforts. Eventually, soldiers found her, voices hushed. Some offered nods of respect, others whispered incredulously. The commander approached, eyes steady and unreadable. "You held them off," he said. "No fanfare, no medals, just acknowledgement." Mara nodded, unsure how to accept praise that felt too loud for the solitude she had known. Later, as the sun dipped behind the peaks and the valley's shadows stretched long, Mara looked out across the ridge. The wind was calm now, carrying only the faint scent of smoke and earth. She understood that true duty was not about recognition. It was about standing firm when no one is watching, about holding fast to courage in the quiet moments that define a life. She allowed herself a small, private smile. No orders had come, no cheers had sounded, and yet the line had held. Because duty is not measured in applause, but in action. Courage doesn't need witnesses. It waits, it acts, and it leaves a mark that only the world eventually notices. This story moved you? Leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Subscribe for more real-life stories of courage and duty, and remember, sometimes the quietest soldiers are the ones who change everything.